Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johann.
And we're at minute 53. This minute begins with Commander Dean telling Rico that it wouldn't be illegal because of the 1240A, and ends with a session of the federal government in Geneva. So yeah, we get Dean. Oh, so go ahead.
I was trying to think, like, why would you say season?
Yeah, that's what.
Before I was saying, like, first thing I thought of was like seasoning food. You know, like that was the first place my mind went. It's like, I don't remember that.
The federal seasoning. It's kind of like the big boy. It's kind of like the Bob's Big Boy seasoning, and when you go there, you can get the big boy seasoning.
Yeah. It's like you screwed up. You screwed up. You know what happens. You get turned into food.
Yep. Everyone turns into Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Another great movie, guys.
That'd be a great deterrent.
Oh yeah, getting turned into food.
Yeah. It's like, don't screw up with everybody's life, or else you become their food.
What is the human cereal in Futurama? People's or whatever it is.
There's Bachelor Chow.
I know there's Bachelor Chow. I'm gonna keep it going, but I'm gonna take this part out.
No, it's not a cereal. It's a cola.
Oh, it is? Soylent Cola. Yeah, Soylent Cola.
So Leela claimed, because I saw it on infosphere.org under Soylent products. And because it's, you know what the infosphere is, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing that gathers up all the information and all that.
Yeah, so it's a perfect name for the wiki.
Yeah. So it says here the Soylent Cola. Claim that the drink varies from person to person.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So I mean, it'd be a great deterrent if you got turned into Soylent Cola.
I didn't notice all of these. Soylent Chow. It's a dog food made from dogs with a slogan, "It's a dog eat dog world."
I'm looking at the exact same thing you are, man. That show is great.
This is so funny.
Well, let's get back to the movie a little bit. Yes, Commander Dean tells Rico that it wouldn't be legal because he signed his 1240A, which basically means that he is out of the military for good.
He can't be sent into combat because he's no longer a recruit.
Yep.
I was wondering, if you signed your 1240A and left, would this be a condition to try and re-enlist?
So when you quit, you pretty much, you're dishonorably discharged in a way, and you cannot re-enlist. You're never again allowed to try to re-enlist or get back into the military, according to the book.
Okay, so 1240A dishonorably discharges you.
Well, it doesn't dishonorably discharge. It just makes sure that, hey, you can't join the military again. It basically gives you a black mark saying, hey, you're forever a citizen now. Or
okay.
You're forever Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, because there's no trial because you're leaving of your own regard. Would it be a dishonorable discharge or just a discharge?
No, it's the same thing like in the book where they say, hey, you joined up, but if you decide not to come, like the recruitment sergeant at the very beginning of the book saying, hey, you don't need to come back. I mean, if it's all a joke, if you don't want to if you want to play soldier but not come back, that's fine. You just won't be able to become a soldier ever again. It's basically just barring them from becoming soldiers. So He basically signed a thing basically saying, hey, I don't want to be in the military anymore, and I don't want to ever be in the military anymore at all.
All right.
So, but Rico persists, saying that, it was a dumb decision, and he continued to make dumb decisions afterwards. Commander Dean keeps telling him no, but Rico relents and says, hey, sir, my whole family was in BA. Basically saying, I got nothing to go back to. And
all right.
Commander Dean, go ahead.
So, well, no, never mind. I was going to make a stupid Mr. T joke, but it's all right.
I'm keeping that in. Go ahead and make your stupid Mr. T joke. Go ahead.
No, it was a Mr. T orgy joke because they were all in BA. So I'm not going to go with it on this program.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I pity fool that don't take me to the climax.
And you committed and you saved it, dude. That was great. Man, that's hard hitting, and I don't think A lot of people are gonna get it.
It's hard hitting, but don't.
Yeah. From the
But
back.
anyways, so
Well, yeah, Commander Dean is looking pretty upset still. Like, he's contemplating it. He's thinking, this kid just made a dumb decision. I maybe should cut him some slack. I mean, he just lost his whole family. But Zim comes in, saves the day, asks him, "Hey, Rico, is this your signature right here?" I'm sorry, no, he doesn't say that. He says, is this your signature, Rico?" He's like, "Yes, sir." And Commander Dean turns around, looks outside, basically to wipe his hands of it, just saying, "Hey, I didn't see anything happen." And Zim tears up his 1240A, saying, it doesn't look like it to me.
you can kind of see where they kind of have sympathy for him the minute he says that his whole family was in Buenos Aires because he has nothing to go back to.
Nothing at all, unless, he is in the will of his father, which probably he is. So he, in fact, has a lot to go back to, but his family's dead.
Yeah, but, well, if you had a chance to try and fight back for some sort of revenge to get some sort of closure on the bugs, like, they're not going to deny it for him because they know he's a soldier at this point.
Yeah.
So you can also see the part where COD and he looks at where the paper is, like he knows what's about to happen.
Yeah, and that's why he turns around, because he doesn't want any part of it, and he doesn't want to have to say to his CO or his his higher ups, "Yeah, I saw him do that. I don't know what happened." He basically is saying, see no evil, hear no evil, all that other stuff. He doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah, in the script, he does exactly what he's doing, where he looks out the window, but he's supposedly just like watching the news. So okay. I guess it's one of those like if they were to question him, he'd be able to tell them exactly what he was doing at the time. He's like, "I was watching the news and this is what I saw." But nothing was filed electronically, which is weird.
Well, yeah, it is kind of weird. I mean, in theory, Rico probably signed this maybe about 5 minutes ago. Like, it may be his last official duty as a recruit or a soldier is to sign your 1248 and officially get out of the military. So, yeah, he may have just signed it, and they may have not, pneumatic tubed it all the way to Geneva, or what I'm thinking. I'm still thinking for some reason they're still using pneumatic tubes, which, I mean, they're using pneumatic tubes for a transportation system. Why not for the mail?
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that they would just scan the image of this paper, but that technology didn't really come in yet.
Or telefax it. No, they had telefaxes.
Yeah, they had fax machines, but they didn't have a scanner.
Yeah, but they turned on their fax machine and they got those, free trips to Fiji or whatever the heck it is if you went to a 3-hour seminar about, timeshares and everything.
Yeah. Well, also, like, their big sponsors, AT&T, they should be able to send faxes.
Yeah, they should, but yeah.
So maybe it just wasn't sent like the minute he signed it like they did.
Oh, I have an idea. So everyone's like frantically moving around like crazy right now because of this whole entire situation, because as we talked about in the last minute, that BA was probably hit intentionally, I'm thinking. But the rest of the society, or the rest of the federal government doesn't know that. They're in like crisis mode, so who knows if any unregulated or low echelon communications is cut off. Kind of like how everything was after 9/11. I mean, you and I both were alive during that time. We know where we were. It was crazy.
Yeah, a lot of the communication lines were bogged down because I had friends in New York and everybody was frantically trying to contact them, find out what was going on, if they were okay, because we didn't know where they were at.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if Rico's, 1240A would have been even telefaxed by the end of the week after this whole entire situation, because this is a major issue. I mean, the world was just attacked. So I'm guessing all communications besides the most, essential is pretty much just not available at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I think kind of like this is my timeline in my head. He signs a form. He walks out. He walks towards the the FTA, and that may be 5 to 7 minutes, maybe, from signing it to walking out to there.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, this big communique comes in of the meteor that hits. Maybe there just wasn't enough time to file it yet. Like, it's sitting in his out bin, and maybe they just wait till a certain period of time where it's like, instead of periodically filing everything, they file everything in one go, like at the end of the day.
Go ahead.
So it was just sitting at the top of the out pile, which is why he kind of does that thing where he looks in the direction of where the file is, because he's kind of signaling to Zim that it's still there.
Yeah. I'd like to think that Commander Dean was kind of reluctant to file it as well, too, because he was losing such a good soldier.
Possibly, because they did talk about if he was redeemable.
Exactly. So he's kind of like disappointed at this point. Like, oh, I wanted him to be redeemable. He seems like such a good kid, but now he's taking the easy way out. What? This is dumb, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
it's all fixed though.
Yeah.
Because Zim tears it up.
Yeah. Here's the part that I mentioned in like the 2 minutes ago, where Zim in the script is there to witness Johnny's signature.
Okay.
So when he asks him, "Is that your signature?" and he says, "It doesn't look it to me," then it kind of nullifies that signature anyways.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if he tore it. Like, they can tear it up because it's like, that wasn't Rico's signature. Well, so yeah. It's kind of like, I know what Rico's signature. It's just one of those, like, we're just going to say this to make it, we're going to say this out in the open for an excuse. Like, this is going to be our alibi. But he just says, like, "Oh, that doesn't look like your signature to me." So he tears it up.
Yeah, I get that.
But since they removed that whole script, or that whole part of the script, I mean, this whole scene actually still works anyways without that scene.
Yep. Zim tells him to carry on, Private, and Rico kind of gets a spring in his step. Actually, you can see him kind of spring up a little bit. He gets a little taller and is like, "Yes, sir!" Like, he's happy now.
Yeah, he's ready to fight some bugs.
I also noticed that he's sweating as well, too. Like, Rico has beads of sweat on his forehead, on his temples, and everything, too. It kind of looks real.
Well, they were out in the sun.
True, and also they have lights on right now that are probably really, really hot as well, too. So, but it makes it look really good. I'm pretty sure Verhoeven kept it in because, hey, he looks in distress right now. He looks like he's really upset. This is perfect. Keep it sweaty. Keep it sweaty.
Yeah,
kind of thing. I need you to be sweaty. But don't take off your shirt though. We don't need you to take off your shirt. No, Gasper, keep your shirt on. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we get a scene change after that. We get the Federal Network logo, but it has fire. Yes, it's on fire. We're in a crisis.
Yeah. Well, I think the fire is to signify all the kind of like a callback to the recent news of BA on fire.
Oh, definitely. And even goes into it after the Federal Network. It just goes into a big, giant capital letters war with flames in the middle of it too.
Yeah, it's to build association of what happened. So, because if it was just block letters, it's like war. People would go like, "Oh God." Like, we're going to war. But if you have a fire, then you're like, yeah, because Buenos Aires got set on fire. It's one of those.
Yeah. And then we get a scene of outside BA, and a lot of buildings are down. There's devastation pretty much everywhere, but there's also federal soldiers around, corpsmen, medics and everything coming around trying to help people out, carrying people on stretchers. Now, in the last episode, you did say something about like how they're probably, or we both actually were pretty much saying, hey, if this was downtown DBA exactly where it hit, there'd be nothing. And that's true. But I'm thinking, this is pretty much like right maybe on the corner of that kill zone where there'd be nothing and there'd still be some stuff left. Like if you look at pictures of Hiroshima or Nagasaki, there are still some buildings standing maybe about a mile or two away from ground zero kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
but see,
yeah,
this image here, This is what I assume that Buenos Aires should look like.
Oh no! It would look a lot worse,
No, I
especially
mean,
if it's
like,
an airburst or something like that.
well, the way the buildings are.
Yeah.
Like there's still a little bit standing. The fires, it's not like just a whole mess of flames just pouring out like gasoline on the side of the building. It's got that smolder that, because most of it was already put out by the dust falling back down.
Yeah. No, but like a lot of these buildings look like they've been like not torn over. What is it called? Like blown over or something like that as well too. But I mean, if this was downtown, like the epicenter of the asteroid hit, nothing would be here. Like it would just be like dust on the ground.
Yeah.
Or a big crater like that goes into the ocean or something like that, So that's why I'm thinking this is more on the outskirts of that crater where the damage wasn't as bad as, the nothing that is in that middle of the crater right now. Because there's still survivors actually too. And we see one of those survivors like pulling out some stuff, pulling out a picture and wiping it off, and the announcer says, announcer's talking about like first comes like sorrow and then comes anger and all this other stuff, basically trying to say, hey, we remember BA. We need to remember BA. We need to feel these emotions.
Well, not only that, those are the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah.
So first is shock and denial, where everybody's like, looking at the screen. You can have either or, depending on how you deal with it. Then there's the pain and the guilt, which is Johnny saying basically that everybody is gone. He survived.
I like where this is going. Keep going.
And then the classic trope, the dog receiving more pity than humans had died.
Oh, dude, like that tore me up. Even though it is definitely a fake looking dog, the nose looks all weird and everything. It's
still like, oh, god dang it!
Because
I hate the bugs. They kill the dog.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you could show me. I mean, there may have been a dead person at or like a somewhat crushed person at like what is it? Let me actually cut this part out too. At like at 5250, there may have been a dead person there that looked, not blood or anything, but they may have been crushed or their lungs, compressed or something like that. They're probably dead because, the medics aren't going to them very quickly. But the dog,
and then we can just judge that on the makeup, going like, it looks like just some dude dusted with gray.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look dead, but he may be dead. He's probably dead. But that doesn't elicit a response like the dog does. The dog makes me want to go to war. The dog makes me want to kill bugs, man. Yeah.
So that's like the pain and the guilt stage of grief.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 52:55, we have this classic scene.
Oh, man. Iconic line as well, too.
Yeah. So he's saying, what? Dang it. All right. Let me try that again.
No problem.
So the next scene, or at 52:56, is a guy saying, the only good bug is a dead bug.
Iconic line.
And that's the anger.
Yes.
Of it's the 3rd stage of grief.
Now, we both actually looked up this gentleman as well, too. His name is John Davison. And you have a bit of information about him as well, too, because I actually did not know about this guy at all.
Yeah, so one of the things that came as a surprise to me as well is the fact that this guy is the voice of ED-209 from RoboCop.
Or as everyone else knows him, Ed-209.
Yeah. Well, because it's not... Well, I say ED because it's a abbreviation. It's not... it's not Edward 209.
But it's lovingly called Ed 209 though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, it's an either. It's potato.
Okay.
You say potato, I say broccoli.
But I don't spell broccoli BOCCI or whatever the hell,
Yeah, it's coffee beer.
Right? Whatever, fine, yes.
Coffee, beer.
Yeah.
COF.
B E.
So John Davison, he was more of a producer than he was an actor. His IMDb page seems to stem since 1968, with a couple movies I've never heard of. And he sporadically had work through the years, but he's worked on like a lot of movies I loved. So, of course, other than RoboCop and Starship Troopers, he also worked on the Piranha movie.
Okay.
He's a producer in that. He was a producer in a Twilight Zone movie.
Ooh.
And though it says that he worked on the third and fourth segment of the Twilight Zone movie.
Okay.
So not all of it, but he did put some work into it. So that's good. It says that on his IMDb page that he was associate producer on number 4 and an uncredited producer on number 3.
Nice.
I'd have to rewatch that to remember which segments they were, because it's been a while. And I'd like to think that one of them was the train passenger that goes into Nazi Germany.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure on every scene that he did. So one of the other movies that he worked on, one of my personal favorites, Airplane.
Ooh, Leslie Nielsen, man.
Oh, I think this was his first comedic movie.
What, Leslie Nielsen?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, beforehand, I remember him in the Poseidon Adventure as the captain, and that was it.
Well, I was listening to some commentary about this particular movie because he was still trying to figure out how to be in comedies. That he actually asked them, the directors at the time, and he said, like, so how am I supposed to play this? And they literally just told him, just do what you do. So he didn't do anything different. He just acted the way he normally did as when he was in as the detectives, like just those old black and white those noir detective movies and all that.
Yeah.
Because that's what he used to do. So he didn't change anything. Like how he was in Columbo. Just that delivery. He didn't change anything. And that it worked. And they realized that his delivery of acting like that was what actually made him funny.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually just kept doing that later on.
Yeah,
a little bit later on when he started, like even in Police Squad, especially in the first movie and even in the TV series, you can see he still has that straight shooter type of delivery. He doesn't try to elicit a laugh out of anybody. He just says it the way he would. And just because the line actually delivers, he can just be who he is.
I mean, it's kind of the same in like some of the other movies that he did too, like later on, like Spy Hard and everything too. Like he would try to like say the line so deadpan and everything, but it would elicit, that much laughter because he's saying these hilarious things, but with a serious monotone kind of voice.
Yeah, but it wasn't until like the other ones, like was it that Dracula and Loving?
Oh, Dead and Loving It.
Dead and Loving It. Yeah.
That was what's his name? Frank, son of Frank.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah, Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah, but you can tell that those ones he's actually trying to be comedic.
Yeah,
because I think since he's around Mel Brooks and he's around certain actors, he tries to push into it.
Yeah,
but when he was doing Airplane, he was just still a straight shooter.
Well, definitely.
You can actually put all like everything he does in a more serious movie, and it would kind of still work.
Yeah, so I personally didn't. Go ahead.
But that's how I remembered that him in Airplane was his first comedic roles. Well, I think first comedic movie was just he didn't even know how to be.
But it was perfect.
It was absolutely perfect.
And honestly, I dislike like some of the stuff that he did later on. Like he did, a few, like one of the Scary Movies or the offshoot of the Scary Movies where he was always the president, but he was always like this bumbling kind of. He always like this old man bumbling dude, and like that was kind of funny, but like not so much, you know.
Yeah. But so other movies that John Davison worked on was this movie called Top Secret.
Okay.
Do you know this movie?
No, I don't.
See, this one I know there's so many people that haven't seen this movie, but it's like it's also another one of my favorites. It's it was a parody of like spy films at the time,
Okay.
and they go into Germany to try and rescue this scientist, and they have the daughter who is trying to be captured, but then they rescue her, and then she says, "You have to save my father." It's this whole thing, but the main character is Val Kilmer,
Ooh, okay.
and he plays a rock and roll star that goes to this area to entertain, and he gets wrapped up in being a spy.
That sounds kind of cool because I'm pretty sure this was like maybe in the late 80s, early 90s, so this Cold War was still on, wasn't it?
It's with Germany. It's not with Russia.
Well, I mean, East-West Germany still.
Yes, yes. So, it's honestly one of my favorite movies. Because there's this scene where they're trying to sneak into the base, but what they do for disguise is one guy's dressed up as the front of the cow, and the other guy's dressed up as the back of the cow.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah. So they actually have a real cow moving into the scene, and it's supposed to be them.
That's some Mel Brooks level stuff right there.
It's actually done by the Zucker brothers.
Oh, okay.
So the cow, because it's people dress up as the cow is still wearing boots. So it's walking with like these boots, and the boots are flopping around as a real cow's trying to walk with boots, trying to run into a base.
Oh gosh, that sounds so great. I think I need to watch this movie now.
It's honestly one of my favorite movies. I watch this all the time. It starts off with a parody of a Beach Boys song, "Surfing in the USA,"
Mm-hmm.
except it's skeet surfing, where you surf with a shotgun, but you skeet shoot at the same time. So it's a combination.
That sounds pretty fun.
They parody Elvis Presley in a couple of songs. Oh my god, it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I definitely need to watch this movie. It sounds amazing.
It's so funny because there's even oh my god, I can't even, if you're gonna watch it, I can't even begin to tell you some of the jokes because I'm gonna spoil it because it's so slapsticky. I love slapstick movies, like this. Brain Donors. A lot of people haven't seen that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the last true slapstick movies that's ever come out.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like right at the end, because it's still like Brain Donors is one of those straight face comedies. It really wasn't the too goofy type of things, but there was a lot of comedians at the time that were in it. They were also in like HBO used to have those comedy hours where there was like all the, so it had one of the comedians that were popular at the time. But these are just like, I love slapstick joke or movies, and this is like one of the ones that were, in my opinion, one of the best. But a lot of people haven't even seen this movie or even heard of it.
Jeez.
But yeah, you need to watch it. You're gonna laugh at this. This is such a great movie.
Definitely, we should. But let's get back to our minute. Actually, there's not too much left in our minute, actually, because after the only good bug is a dead bug, announcer says that the federal what is it called? The federal government in Geneva has convened, and we get an overview of pretty much the whole entire federal government, which we assume are like senators or governors or something, but they're also all military personnel. And Sky Marshal Dean has addressed the federal government as well too. So
yeah, it looks like people were. Well, it's a citizen federation, so I think it wasn't just the military heads. They brought in other branches as well.
Well, so you remember, once you get to federal service, you become a citizen.
I guess.
Yeah.
So No. What I mean is, maybe it's people that used to be in the armed service and now they're like accountants or police or even FBI
Yeah,
type
okay.
thing. Like it's not just all military, because you see some people in military attire and you see people in button-up shirts.
True. Yeah. So that
And,
makes sense because yes, these would be all veterans still.
and I just noticed something right now
Mm-hmm.
that I all of you know how like they try and dress up as many of the extras as they can
Mm-hmm.
for the camera and all that. So I think these are surplus wardrobe,
Okay.
because right at the end of 52, 59, at the bottom of the screen, there's someone where the back of the costume wasn't zipped up.
Oh no.
You see the seam like left open right there, because you know how that works. Like they just like they wrap up the front, then they just tie in the back, and they put the blazer on top, so it looks like they're wearing a suit.
Is the guy wearing white?
Yeah, and you
Okay.
can see like a black stripe going down his back.
For some reason, I thought that was his ponytail.
I don't think that's a ponytail.
No, neither do I now. I think, yeah, it looks like just.
I hope that's not a ponytail, because it doesn't look like something that there would be like around at that time.
And let's be honest, in the Starship Troopers world, we're not going to have any hippies, with their long hair and everything. They're not going to have their long hair like that. That's going to be a girl thing.
Well, even all the women here, like even in the scene, they all have hair to their shoulders.
Yeah, that's true.
There's only a few that actually have like a ponytail, but it's not that long. I think that's one of those the wardrobe that just didn't close on him, and they were just like, it's fine.
Man, when you go over this movie minute by minute, start noticing stuff.
Yeah.
But that's where that minute ends, actually. Do you have anything else you want to say about this minute?
Nope, I think I'm good.
I just want to say one thing, that up on the upper left-hand side, those pillars that have lights on them, I'd say they look a little bit better with torches instead of lights.
Yeah, that's true.
Make it a little more Nazi-ish. I don't know.
Yeah. Like make them red, yellow, and black.
Instead of the green, yeah, make it like dark red, and maybe like a crimson or something like that. Black, something kind of, I don't know, swastika-ish. Maybe like an eagle, an iron eagle, or something like that as well too. Maybe an iron cross. Something by Hugo Boss is what I'm saying.
All right. Okay. Well, one of the last things I probably should say is everybody out there, go, if you haven't seen a movie Top Secret, go see it. It's amazing. And I always recommend to people to watch Brain Donors. It's so funny. It's so fast-witted. And I think it still stands the test of time. It's just unfortunate that a lot of people don't know about it.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, guys, where can they find you, Johann?
You guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at j-d26, and also on Twitter at OMG It's Johann.
And you guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet. But you can also follow the show on our website at theroughneckminute.podbean.com, or you can follow us on Twitter at theroughneckmin, M-I-N. Or you can also continue the conversation about, what is the movie called again? I'm sorry?
Top Secret.
Top Secret. We can...
Yeah, Top Secret and Brain Donors. Those are the two that I think should be watched.
Definitely take a look at those movies and talk about it on our Facebook group, The Roughneck Minute Billet, B-I-L-E-T. Please also subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Google Play, or any other podcast you guys can find us on. But I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johann.
And we'll see you on the Bounce Troopers. Angry Norwegian. Benderbrow.
Angry Norwegian.
Yeah, the angry Norwegian anchovies.